And good afternoon. Welcome to the Native News Today. We hope that you are all safe and sound and doing good on this first Saturday morning in the month of June 2007. Jason Salzman with Gerald Wofford. As always, we thank you for allowing us to come broadcast-wise, technology and everything into your home this afternoon. As always, we feel like we got a great program lined up for you this afternoon.
Absolutely right. We're excited about today's show because we got a lot of great things to talk about and got some family members on the program. My uncle will be joining us a little bit later and talking about some great things. But we got the immersion camp from the Muskogee Language Program, and we got my uncle, of course, talking about some Turkey Springs softball back in the day, and also a museum oversight committee wanting to bring an accredited museum to the Muskogee Creek Nation, and that's all going on this week. And it just seems like, man, everything's going on. The month of June, Creek Festival just around the corner. It's a birthday month for yours truly. I mean, golly, we got a full plate, man.
Man, I tell you what, this man here went over real quickly the agenda of today's show and everything. Say that quickly so we can kind of move that faster. But he was talking about his uncle, Grover Wynn, with the Turkey Springs, the softball team. Now, we know a very important part of the Native American culture, especially in the modern Native American culture, is sports. And fast-pitch softball is certainly a good foundation of Native American sports. And in the 70s, I tell you what, you found some great American Indian softball out there, the fast-pitch style. I feel sorry for some of these youngins here that, you know, were born in 1980s and stuff like that. But they didn't get to see that softball action that was played in the 70s. And I'm not kidding. I'm talking about some great athletes, some great talent out there that was going on out there. And it was just a fun time going out there to watch him play. This man interviewed his uncle, who was on one of those stellar teams of the 70s. We're going to include some vintage footage from that softball era. You really want to kick back and enjoy this. There's going to be some good stuff here. So we're going to be interviewing his uncle as well. And you had mentioned the immersion camp, a lot of good things happening out there.
Absolutely. Norma Marshall and her crew with the Muskogee Language Program really doing a lot to ingrain these kids with everything cultural going on out at the camp. I mean, they got, stickball exhibitions, basket weaving, looking at some, even looking at some bow making techniques, things like that. And then also getting involved in the language and having the language around them at all times and having nicknames for one another in the Creek language. And basically, what Norma always stresses is the fact that you got to practice. If you want to know the language, you got to practice it and put it to work every day. And that's exactly what they did throughout the camp. And, that's really going to hold with those kids for a long time. And they'll be able to get better at it, and the language will gradually get stronger, and it'll stay here and it'll stay with us.
That's right. And also, too, some events happening at a museum, right?
Absolutely. We got the Oversight Committee meeting for the first time to get everything worked out. And our very own district judge here at the Muskogee Creek Nation, Patrick Moore, who just so happens to be our own Jared Moore's dad. And Judge Moore is the chairman of the committee to bring a museum, a credited, wonderful museum that we can be so proud of here to Almagi at the capital of the Muskogee Creek Nation. And you look around at the museums that are coming up, and you have the Cultural Center that's coming up in Oklahoma City, and the Museum of the American Indian in Washington, D.C., and really some of the Native American exhibitions at the Smithsonian. And Judge Moore's already talked to the Smithsonian about bringing some of their exhibits to this museum here. So it's in about 4 or 5 years, be something we can be really proud of. All of that coming up today on Native News Today.
Wow. A lot of family connections today, as you notice here on the Native News Today here. Jared Moore, his dad, your uncle. I'm just like the Indian Mafia here. We just keep it all in the family here. Got to remember the family here.
That's right.
All this happening as we roll on here on the Native News Today.
Where OK comes to play. Creek Nation Casino. Where OK comes to play. Creek Nation Casino, where OK comes to play.
Chief Ellison worked hard not only at the local level but also in conjunction with the other tribal leaders to deal with issues in the state of Oklahoma that benefit the tribes, benefit the economy of the state. And the thing I've always admired about Chief Ellis is he's first and foremost taking care of his tribal people, but he also is a great Oklahoman and cares a lot about all the citizens of Oklahoma. What's good for the Muskogee Creek Nation is good for Oklahoma.
All right, welcome back here with us on Native News Today. You know, me and Jared were out last week being able to go to the Muskogee Language Program's immersion camp, and basically they brought kids from all over, even as far as Alabama, to get them ingrained for an entire week in the Muskogee language, the Muskogee culture. They had guest speakers, storytellers, dancers, everything you could possibly want to be all involved in the Muskogee language and the culture out at Muskogee Language Immersion Camp.
On Monday, we started out with just the kids getting to know everybody. And what we've been doing is, first thing in the morning, we do a general assembly, and we've been doing breakout sessions with just the boys only and the men, instructing them on becoming responsible young men, responsible fathers, responsible husbands. And with the young women, we've talked to them about becoming women of dignity and grace and honor and respect, and becoming young wives and young mothers, and how they must carry those things. And the whole purpose of this camp was for us to train and equip our young people to carry that torch. And this week, we as their elders have passed that torch to them to keep our language alive and to keep it as beautiful as it is.
Being able to travel around the country and do all the different conferences, concerts, events, and things like that, you know, anytime I get the opportunity to do something that's like language immersion or cultural preservation or anything that has to do with like our spiritual ways, you know, that's, to me, that's, you know, that's a blessing. In Pawnee, Pakudu, Pawnee language, we say it's turahe. It's good, makes you feel good. It's a blessing, and that you know, that's what we need right now. You know, like a lot of our cultural ways is what's helping us in our modern society. You know, because it's the way society is now, so crazy. You know, if you're learning about, you know, our traditional ways and values, then it can help you out in the world. That's what I was told, you know, all these things that we get, you know, Huliswa, you know, this medicine, it's good medicine that's going to help us when we go back out into the world. And so that's you know, we've been using, you know, everywhere we go, you know, this history, this culture, and especially the language, you know, to see this happening, you know, when you heard for so long, you know, the language is lost, you know, we're losing it, and it's gone, it's going away. You know, it's always been there, and it's always going to be there. You know, all we have to do is just take it, you know, grab it and take it in and learn it and start using it. You know, the first part is starting to learn it and then starting to use it. That's when you start to feel the effects of the language preservation, and you start seeing things. You know, when I was driving here, it was raining, and it was you know, it was really nice, you know, but I saw it when I saw the rain real hard in Pawnee. You say juahu, that means it's raining. And that's what I thought in my mind. And in the last few months, you know, learning the Pakudu, it's they say you start to see things different. You start to see trees and animals, and when you see someone, you want to say the language before you want to speak English. And I heard that before from people that do linguistics and teaching the language, you know, that you start thinking in indigenous way, and so, or a native way, and I'm feeling that myself, you know, it's real cool.
If you grew up in the 70s, and I know a lot of you all did out there, and you were into the Native American sports scene, you couldn't go through it without knowing about fast pitch softball. I'll tell you what, there were some memorable, legendary teams that were embracing the fields around northeastern Oklahoma at that time, as well as national. One team that emerged out of the Bixby Merchants and then became the Turkey Springs softball team with over 400 wins and only 100 losses. I'll tell you what, any college team or pro sports team would love to have a record like that, but it belonged to a Native American fast pitch softball team. This man here, his uncle, was a very instrumental part of that team, Grover Wind.
Yes, sir.
And you got a chance to talk with Uncle about those glory days.
Yeah, that's right. Unc was the manager of that team. He was the coach and got it together and everything. And a dear friend of his that's not with us anymore, Bob White, one of the best fast pitch Indian pitchers that there ever has been. And me and Grover were able to reminisce, sit down, and talk a little bit about those days. All right, and this is a personally very, very special occasion for me to have my uncle here. This is my uncle, Grover Wind, and we are going to talk about some softball today because this man right here was the manager of one of the best softball teams you'll ever hear about or find in this state of Oklahoma, the Turkey Springs Softball Club. And before that, the Bigsby Merchants. So we got a lot to talk about today, but just so glad to have you here with me today. And just start out by telling us a little bit about your days back then and what it meant to you to be able to be a part of that.
Well, first of all, Jason, it's a pleasure to be here, and I thank you for inviting us. But the other thing is, too, I'm so glad to see that you're promoting the fast pitch softball. Over the years, it seems like it's been dying out, and it's an excellent sport. I mean, I just love it. I started out playing a little baseball and got into fast pitch softball after I got out of service, and I guess I got addicted to it. I mean, you build such a camaraderie, and it's just a good, clean sport. And I've always felt, too, getting maybe on another subject, I always felt like the Native Americans, American Indians, were absolutely the best softball players I'd ever seen. I mean, there's any tournament you went to, so many good teams out there, and most of the pitchers, good pitchers, were Native American. I mean, it's just a count. I could name after name after name who I thought was excellent, but it's a good family sport too.
Absolutely, that's one of the things that's such camaraderie is what we were talking about, and you can see some of these old pictures behind us, and I'm sure it brings up a lot of great memories for you. And one of the things is that Native Americans they correlate with the sport of fast pitch softball. I mean, that's just the way it is. If you go to any tournament and regular people are out there and playing and everything, and they hear that there's an all-Indian team in the tournament, that immediately strikes fear in their hearts, you know what I mean? Just because us Indians, we've just loved to play, and that's the way it's been, the camaraderie, the fellowship and everything with other people, but specifically the teams you are on. And as we look behind us here, we started out with the All-Indian State Tournament bracket. You guys won that and have had a lot of success over the years. Just talk about some of the accomplishments of your teams.
Okay, we won the Class B in 1970, the state Class B in 1979, 1980. We won the Oklahoma City All-Indian State Tournament. We won it in 79 and 80, and we finished runner-up in the Nationals in 79. We won the Nationals in 1980. We finished up with a 410 and 101 win-loss record from 1977 to 1981. Wow. It was not. We played ball every weekend basically, and we played in the league. We played in the Tulsa League, and as Turkey Springs, we played in the City League. And in fact, but it's interesting. In 1980, they were going to classify us as a Class A team, and by doing that, we wouldn't be able to defend our Class B championship. We wouldn't even be able to go to Oklahoma City tournament, the All-Indian tournament, because we were considered an elite team. And we didn't as much as Bob. I mean, I took a lot of pride in it, but that meant Bob couldn't play in any tournament except, or throw any tournament but that.
And of course, you're talking about Bob White.
Yes, I'm sorry, Bob White.
Probably know.
I'm sorry, Bob White.
Big time pitcher.
Yeah.
And
Bob,
that team.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And when I think of pitchers, I just think of Bob White. Bob White was no doubt one of the most outstanding pitchers there ever was. Not only did he have such an assortment of pitches, he was clocked at 102 miles an hour. He could throw it by you. He had a wicked changeup. He had a knuckleball that moved all over the place. But the thing about Bob, it was his character, his sportsmanship. Somebody would hit a ball and an infielder would make an error, an outfielder would drop the fly ball or something. And I've seen so many pitchers that would turn around and throw their glove or kick the ground. Bob wouldn't. He would turn around and say, "Shake it off. That's my fault. I'll let him hit it." I mean, and any team, and I dare to say that any team that he pitched against would be the first to tell you that he was the ultimate sportsman. We lost him in 1993. And but toward the latter years, I got out of it in 82, 83. But toward the latter years, he began to work with the girl pitchers, and he developed my own daughter. He developed several girls that went on to college as pitchers, and But we had so many good ball players. We had so many.
Now tell us some of the names, just some people out there probably watching might want
to
hear a name or two. And I know that guy.
Oh yeah. Well, kind of looking at our picture here, you've seen Bob White on the left there. Interesting story. The guy next to him is Ron Kasnavoid. Now he's Blackjack Kasnavoid. Most old timers know who Blackjack is. One of the renowned pitchers also. The only time he played was a city tournament. And he would show up. First tournament he showed up, he was looking for a team. And he come and asked Bob. Bob said, well, let me talk to Grover. And I said, yeah, come on, because we were going to be short, we thought, that weekend. But every year after that, the first name on our roster in Oklahoma City would be Ron Casdenvoice. He'd get there early and sign up, but excellent hitter. He's probably the guy that turned the team around for us. We were behind Haskell 6-1 and bottom of fifth, and he hit a line drive down the right field line. And from that point on, it seemed like our season, we were just, I don't want to say unstoppable, because you can always be stoppable, but that's what I think was the moment for us. And of course, Elmer Jimboy and Ed Jimboy, they're from Elmer and Edwin Jimboy, they're from here in Okmulgee. And of course, we lost Edwin several years ago. Excellent third baseman. He pitched some for us from time to time. Kenny Bunner, he's here from Okmulgee. Ray Barnett. The ones that started out as the old Bixby Merchants would have been Ray and Kenny and Bob Tressler. Bob Tressler was probably, well, he was always batting number 4 for me, one of my best hitters. And like never got him to play for us, but I think once he did, he was glad. But we just from top lineup, from bottom to top lineup, any one of the hitters could hit it out.
Absolutely.
So and they'd bunt. A lot of the superstars, so to speak, wouldn't bunt, but these guys would bunt. And while I'm talking about that, I think it's his show, but I'm doing the talking.
Hey, that's all right. Hey, that's what you're supposed to do.
But we had, I was filling lineup in 1980 in Oklahoma City for the state tournament finalists, and I had an older ball player by the name of Jim Marshall, who had played many, many years. And he come up and said, I'm a stipend. He told me, he said, Grover, he said, I really appreciate your team. He said, because you have guys that give you 110%, you don't have any bickering, you don't have any superstars, and that's what we were. We were just a team that loved to play ball.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about. When you were telling me even the other day how you said, Jay, you telling me and Mike, my brother, like, guys, 7, 8, 9 hitters could hit it out of the ballpark. And me and him being baseball guys and now softball guys, now that we got into that, we understand that that's a pretty meaty lineup and pretty impressive. So I got a little bit of insignia here from the Turkey Springs days. And you're going to give me one of these, I guess.
Yes.
I'm going to wear it with a lot of pride. Thank you for being here with me today.
Appreciate
Looking
it.
back on all this good stuff, and hopefully come out and see me in the future and be able to rekindle some of those good memories.
Well, I'm so proud that you and Mike are playing fast pitch, and to all the people who are promoting fast pitch, especially among the young ones, I take my hat off to you.
All right. Mr. Grover Wynn, manager of the Turkey Springs Softball Club, but more importantly, he's my uncle.
I'll tell you what, man, ain't nothing better than looking at that good footage like that from those glory days past here. And he and I, we know how to throw that ball in there and catch it with that glove. Or is that a piece of fry bread that we catch it with?
No, you don't want to ruin the fry bread, man.
Yeah, don't ruin the fry bread. Words to live by here. Well, hey, we're going to fast pitch our way right now to a break here as we roll along on the Native News Today.
Smali, tasa ko nili ang ginaistun sanga.
Pangana riibe hayatkaus.
Kada magas.
Pangana hayatkiruang noge.
Fanny molo just abananga.
Tu mo sati.
Isla hani subani doang.
What? Hiji mo katsari chin hisakta da stumidanga.
Mahisi mokka se di wekki diga hisagirera hiliga ampane hayatkiruang.
The Muskogee Creek Nation Tobacco Prevention Program offers all cessation classes to young and old. For more information about a healthier life and a second wind, contact one of these centers nearest you.
Hijida. Hilishwa fatsa. CNA to the doors. Moes.
Well, hisi mokkeskera mokke zaknoar stinokkesis stilizi duis.
You know, the heritage of American Indian history today is found in the museums and everything. And these are so important to have here, and especially here in Okmulgee, where a special project is underway.
Absolutely. The Oversight Committee for the Creek Nation Museum to be here at the Capitol grounds. We're taking back our artifacts, taking control of those, and this is a small step in that.
Today was the inaugural meeting of an oversight committee to build a world-class, accredited Museum of Muskogee Culture and Artifacts in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. The one that will be built here will be unique. It will be southeastern culture, and we envision it to be a focal point for eastern Oklahoma in the future, and that it will draw scholars and visitors year-round. Actually, the initial thoughts about about a museum began with a strategic plan that was put together by the Muskogee Creek Nation back in the mid-90s. And the number one thing that the strategic plan envisioned we needed to do was things about the culture of the Muskogee people. Then as we got into the 2000s and we start discovering that there are many archives and sacred things around the United States and world, it became evident to me that somebody needed to do something to get a museum going. And Okmulgee is the capital of the Creek Nation today, and that's the logical place to put a museum of this caliber. We sat down and thought about this for quite some time. You first of all need to have governmental support. With the governmental support, you need the support of people who are traditional people. When this committee was put together to achieve all the governmental support that we needed, the chief's office has a designee to the committee. Each one of the standing committees on the National Council have a membership slot on this committee. The Supreme Court, the District Court, and incorporated but not serving yet will be one of the MECOs from the ceremonial ground, because the MECOs are essential for this project to function. We have traditional people on here, traditional craftsmen on this committee. And as you saw today, we've got people coming in to see us now that want to do exhibits for a museum that will be absolutely unique. There will be there's not another place in the world that you can go see some of these things. I'm going to guess this is probably a 4 to 5 year project. That's my guess. And some of that has to do with the push that's behind it. And I think you heard committee members today say we've wasted enough time. We need to get moving. You heard traditional craftsman Mike Berryhill say we've waited too long. You heard another councilman say we should have done this yesteryear. Well, we're here today, and the job of this committee is to push it, and we're going to push it.
All right, there, good information there about the museum. And of course, as that continues on, more information is giving out. Even when the actual building is constructed, completed, opening ceremonies, we'll have all the information for you on the Native News Today.
We sure will. It looks to be completed. I asked Judge Moore, I didn't want to press him too much, but and he didn't want to give me an exact day because you know how those can be, but he said 4 to 5 years would be very satisfactory to get this all done.
Hey, when a judge tells you 4 to 5 years, you know, you don't want to press them on that.
Usually it's not a good thing if he tells you 4 to 5 years.
Scary thing, hear a judge tell you 4 to 5 years, or seeing a lawyer running down the hallway.
That's right. And the good thing is when he told me 4 to 5 years, he didn't slam the gavel and say bailiff taken away. He just said thank you for the interview. So
hey, that's good.
Every day on the outside is a good day.
That's right, that's right. Speaking of the outside, a lot of things happening this weekend here in Indian country.
Oh, yeah.
The Red Earth Festival is going on in Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. We're going to have some highlights next week. of some stuff that's happening there, the parade they're having in downtown Oklahoma City and all that going on.
Always a big event there. Always a big event. And yesterday, as a matter of fact, when we were talking to Judge Moore, we had a special guest there for the Oversight Committee. And you people in Creek Nation will be happy to know that there are good people out there wanting to get involved in this museum. And Judge Moore was telling us about some professors from Ohio State University, Oklahoma City University, C. Blue Clark. I know a lot of people out there know him and a lot of the great things he does in Indian Country, but as well some noted artists, and Dan Townsend, our own very own Muskogee Creek shell carver that everybody knows, and he'll be at Red Earth actually this weekend. He was there and wants to be a part of this Creek Nation Museum, so that's a lot of great things going on. But Red Earth, you just can't really get any other experience like that in the world. I mean, it's very, very central to this part of the country, and it's very, very special too.
Happening in our own backyard here. You mentioned some people from Ohio State and some other colleges.
The Ohio State.
The Ohio State.
It's kind of like the University of Oklahoma.
That's right. No one from Boise State, though. We hope not. Boise State, OU.
Go to commercial. Go to commercial. No, I'm just kidding.
No hook and ladder going on there or anything like that. But
it's still painful.
Diehard OU fans here, so we'll get over that.
We'll get over it.
New season, new time.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
That's right. Another special event that's happening here, kind of in our own backyard. The Creek Festival getting ready to come up in a couple of weeks.
That's right.
The pageant, the Miss Creek Nation Princess pageant, going to be happening this weekend. We'll bring you some highlights of that, announce the winners, and hopefully not like the Miss USA, they won't fall on the floor or nothing.
Ooh, did you see that? That was embarrassing.
Well, you know, I mean, that can happen, you know. You got to get back up, you know. And,
she fell and I came with the
yeah, she got back up. If she'd been Indian, she'd have got up. She'd have said, "Hey."
Yeah.
Cruised on,
that'd have been hilarious if she would have. I should have been Miss Indian USA, but you know, you can't have everything you want.
That's right. Hey, real quickly, we'll give you the information here because we want to report on all Native news, okay? We are with the Creek Nation Communications Department, but we report on all Native American news. Real quickly, what's the information they can give us?
All of you out there, give us a call, 918-732-7638. Or you can reach us by our fax number at 918-758-0824. Or you can get us at our email, jsalzman@muskogeanation-nsn.gov or gwofford@muskogeanation-nsn.gov. That's the all ifs, ands, wheres, and all who's and all that stuff. We're ready to go.
That's right. For producer Josh Lane, Jared Moore, Jason Salzman, Gerald Wofford. In the meantime, take care. God bless. We'll see you soon.